Hey, John, I know that you're not ready yet. I saw a blog on home buying, thought of you, figured I'd check to see if you want me to text it or email it. Email? Okay, perfect. Just let me confirm your email. Great. Hey, while I've got you, I know you were considering moving in the next year. Is that still your plan? So you can still get there, right? But you start with an item of value.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
Well, welcome everybody. We're live now on LabCoatAgents as well as on Facebook. We are here with Jordan Weber of zBuyer, and we're here with Barry Jenkins. Everybody knows Barry, and we're here to talk, about zBuyer's bonus prospecting leads feature that they have going on here. Very excited to have both of these guys on our call today. Apologies for the little bit of delay there, but we got some great content that we're ready to share with you guys to elevate your lead generation game. And so with that being said, Jordan, I'll let you kind of start us off here as we kind of go into more of what zBuyer has to offer that maybe not everybody knows about.
Yeah, so we're talking about the prospecting list, and it's something pretty cool and a feature that not a lot of people really look into or understand what it is. But it's whenever someone subscribes to us, we're going to give you access for free to the last 2 years to parts of our database. Depending on the area, depends on how many leads you get, depending on how much you spend, depends on how many you get. But Barry, you've used our service for a while. As you know, whatever you put into it, this prospecting list will give you hundreds up front or even thousands, depending on what you spend. And then every month you stay with us, we keep adding to it because we get leads from multiple different sources that we generate ourselves, and then some outside partners that we work with just to continue filling up this list. And in their age leads, they're anywhere from a month old to 2 years old. But as also anyone knows that's really worked our leads or the majority of online leads, they're not ready to transact right away. They're normally in that range of 6 to 12 months for our leads personally. So with this prospecting list, you don't have to start buying leads and wait 6 months of this incubation period of nurturing and getting them ready to being closer to transact. You can jump in our prospecting list and go to the leads that are already 5 months old and are almost right to that point.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if you know this, Jordan, but like when LabCoats was reaching out to me, they were like, hey, we know you use zBuyer. We're thinking about a webinar. Like, is there anything you're passionate about with their platform? And literally I said to them, I was like, I don't think the prospect list is discussed enough. Because, if you guys listen to me talk or follow me, I'm obsessed with database building. I started in 2016. I had 4,000 leads, and Howard Tager talks about database building. He was doing it so much. I finally just went hook, line, and sinker. And now I've got 253,000 leads in my CRM. And it's because I'm obsessed with building this fishbowl of humans in my market and keeping ads in front of them. And it's really hard to find good, name, email, phone number leads for cheap. The cost on Facebook leads has gone up, partially because they changed targeting rules. They changed. Look, I don't have to tell you guys, mortgage rates are over 7%. Inventory is low. There's a lot of reasons to kind of sit on your hands and be bummed out. But one of the reasons why we were late on this webinar is Jordan and I were rapping about working through difficulty, right? We were sharing war stories of moments in our life where things were difficult and we had to kind of find a way through it and navigate it. And it's normally ugly. It's normally annoying. It's not fun. And I feel like this market in many ways is really hard. And for me, after believe it or not, 25 years I've been in real estate. That's all I've ever done. I've done things while I was in real estate because I wasn't making any money in like 2008. But generally speaking, I've been in the real estate industry for 25 years. And the hard markets are the doorway to another level. Like I lost everything in 2008. And as a result of 2008, I made my first million in 2011 because of that market. So because of the environment the market of 2008 created and the suffering I endured, the result of that is 2.5, 3 years later, here I am. And I never looked back because I don't want to squander any opportunities. And to me, the prospecting list is a really good opportunity. What I do, because you guys, unless you change, Jordan, my understanding is you can't just click an export button and download them all at once, right?
No, at this point you can't because it's free. It's an age list, and a lot of people don't understand, what comes with an age list. There's going to be a large amount of, bad information potentially the further back you go. People have already bought or sold or contract. And if it exported, everyone could just go throw it into their database and push out emails. All of a sudden they're going to get mad because, hey, I'm getting, all these bounces or unsubscribes. It's hurting my email reputation. I can't deliver. Or I tried to go text 3,000 leads and all of a sudden my numbers show up as spam. So intentionally, we try to make it, to where there's an extra layer, of maybe difficulty or screening that has to go into it. So almost protect the agent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the opportunity. Because candidly, if you guys had a one-off export button, I would still export them, just to be candid with everybody on the thing. I would still do it, but I wouldn't be hyped about it like I am right now, because I pay someone in the Philippines $5.50 an hour. She works for me 40 hours a week as an ISA. One of her ISA duties is to log in every week and literally manually get the information out of your prospecting list, manually add them to Follow Up Boss, manually add them to Ylopo, send listing alerts, and then we basically bring these people back to our website. And those are the prospecting buyers that we get from your prospecting list. When we get them to come back to us through just sending homes, that's all we're doing. We're emailing them houses and we're running Facebook ads with houses. That's it. And anybody that looks, we see that as a signal that says, hey, this is a human that is still interested in looking at houses. Doesn't mean that they're looking, I mean, they might just be looking to shop, And so for me, the fact that I have to add a layer of management, I see that as an opportunity. And this is why I see the prospecting list as a greater treasure trove of opportunity, because it is my opinion that agents that are going to remain successful digitally, generating leads, working leads, procuring business, they're going to be the ones that learn how to keep the consumer in their fishbowl, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't matter if it's your MLS. You could go into your MLS and create searches for all these people. Doesn't matter what platform you're using to keep people on your website. The key is that they don't go to Zillow, they don't go to Realtor.com, they don't go to Redfin. They stay in your little fishbowl. And what the prospecting list is doing for me is it's just getting me more at bats. I don't know, every market's different, but I'm going to guess and say I get at least 100 free leads a month, at least. Probably more than that, to be candid with you. But 100 leads for being a subscriber at zBuyer. I buy leads from them. They send me seller leads. But then I get this, somebody just asked in the chat, what is the prospecting list? You basically have a login. Does anybody that buys, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, if anyone buys zBuyer leads from you, do they all get access to the zBuyer prospecting list?
They've signed up in the last 3.5 years at this point. Yes. If you're someone that's signed up, before that and you still have your subscription, reach out to your customer service rep and they'll change your account to where you get access to it.
So you log in and you've got a list of people, and then what you do with them is up to you, right? So for me, I'm running a 100-agent brokerage, okay? And I've got to think about how can I optimize my salespeople's time. So what I decided to do was get these I'm going to just say it's 100 free leads a month. They're not guaranteeing that. Nobody's saying that's what you get. I might get more, I might get less, but I'm just going to call it 100. I would guess and say about 20% of them come back to my website. And then my agents and my ISAs try to talk to those 20 people that use our website. The other 80 might be buyers. They might be. But if they're not using my website, I'm using the website activity as a signal of continued interest in the subject of real estate. And so I'm optimizing my sales team's time by saying, out of these 100, here's the 20 that are acting interested. And candidly, out of the 20 that we talk to that are still interested and things like that, we typically will find 2 to 4 relationships, people that say, yeah, I'm still looking, not really sure yet. And then we label them hot, warm, or cold in our CRM. And we are sticky. Like, we just don't let them go.
And
so, following up with them. How often are you still following up with them, even though they are kind of those colder leads?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's actually really important because if we're being honest, a lot of agents, their follow-up game is every month or so. And it's, if I was to oversimplify, hey, just touching base, checking in. And I need you guys to understand what you're saying to the consumer. When they hear that, what they feel is what I'm about to say. Hi, I'm calling to see if you're ready to tell me how to do my job. Because as an agent, I'm looking for clarity. Does the consumer have clarity on what their needs are? Are you ready to place an order? Right? That's what we call good leads. Like, hey, checking in. Oh, yes, you'd like to see a home this weekend? Sure, I'm available at 2:00. Does that work for you? Would you like fries with that? Right? It's very transactional, very like, and so what we do is we always call these nurture leads that we talk to with something. Hey, John, I know that you're not ready yet. I saw a blog on home buying, thought of you, figured I'd check to see if you want me to text it or email it. Email? Okay, perfect. Just let me confirm your email. Great. Hey, while I've got you, I know you were considering moving in the next year. Is that still your plan? So you can still get there, right? But you start with an item of value. This also changes your voicemails. See, if you guys are leaving touching base voicemails, I would never call you back. I don't want to have to think about the brain power it takes to gain clarity on what your needs are. So you're thinking a year away, right? And the agent calls you and says, checking to see if you need any help. No, I'm a year away. I don't know what can you help me with? I don't. And so we are burdening the prospect by seeking their clarity. Do you have clarity on what your needs are? And so instead, what you do with your nurture is you assume that they don't have clarity. And in your voicemails, you do the same thing that magazines do when you're at Walgreens. The magazines on the rack will have 3 ways to lose belly fat, 2 fun date ideas to, spark up your marriage, right? Like they put a number and a topic, and they know if you open that magazine, you're buying it. And that's what you have to do with your nurture of these prospect leads. You have to have an item of value, and then you have to say in the voicemail, hey, I had one thing that I wanted to talk to you about home buying. When you have 5 minutes, give me a call. Hey, I saw one house in the neighborhood you're looking for. I know you're not ready, but I wanted to talk to you about it, right? So you kind of synchronize it to where you're just giving them an item of value. But getting all these leads off the prospect list and then getting them to respond to some kind of marketing is the way you monetize this. I don't know if you know this, Jordan, but there are not a lot of repositories of old leads. Like there's not a lot of businesses that offer you old leads. And so that's why I think highlighting this is such a big deal.
Yeah. I was digging around in your account. I was looking to see how many we've delivered to you. In this subscription, I think this account, you've been with us since like 2020. Yes. 3.5 years. We've sent you 5,460.
Gosh, so what is that a month? So 3.5 years, 36 months. So that's like 150, 200 a month, something like that.
Yeah.
See, guys, the Mendoza line of remarketing. Okay, so when you have a database and you want to monetize the database, what we found in my working at Ylopo and other remarketing engines is when you have about 3,000 humans in your system, the math the number of people that use your website as a result of marketing to them, right around 3,000 to 3,500, it pops exponentially, and it just continues to grow from there. And so that's why this is such a great opportunity for people. And candidly, I don't think I'm talking about this enough, because people come to me a lot. They're like, "Hey, Barry, you got a big database. What should I do?" And I need to reference the zBuyer prospecting list more, because it's a great way. It's a great tool, great access.
And I think that's why you need to have so much content marketing that you can offer, things like blog posts to be able to have on your site, to give them something to come back and just read about, or whether that be, weekly and monthly newsletters that are continuing to provide different updates, or even, creating video tours of properties, because people want something. And this is your perfect way to be able to provide that information to them without saying, "Hey, are you ready to go buy a home?"
Right.
And they continue to, keep that interest high, and having these lists like this will allow you to do that.
Yeah, that's spot on, Trenton. It's a really good point. And the National Association of Realtors puts out the home buyer and home seller study every year. One of the themes that's been consistent for the last several years is overwhelmingly people that are looking to buy a home want more photos. They just do. And so when you're sending them listings, it's just a great way to engage. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't really value listing alerts. It's you get it from Zillow, you can get it from anywhere. But man, the open rate on sending them listings in the neighborhood they're looking is very high. And that's because people enjoy shopping for real estate. But I think this is a really now message for a lot of people. With high rates, mortgage rates, low inventory, it's really hard to find buyers and sellers. It reminds me of 2020 a little bit, when it's not as dramatic, but the first couple months of quarantine, everybody was trying to figure out, how am I going to sell homes in this market? And I remember the meeting with my team like it was yesterday. And I sat down with them and I said, "Hey, this reminds me of 2008. I didn't know what to do. And I just did what I always did. I didn't make any changes. And I starved for a year. And so this time around, this is a big change. If there's a human in our market that's looking to buy a home, I'm going to endeavor to find them through advertising. And I'm going to endeavor to put them into your CRM and notify you, so that if there's anyone shopping in my market to find a house, you're going to be the agent that talks to them. Further, we elected to use Facebook Messenger. Zoom wasn't a verb yet, right? I'm going to catch you on a Zoom, right? It wasn't. So Zoom was there, but it wasn't popular. But Facebook Messenger video was popular. So we literally, for the first several months, we crushed it, because everybody else appropriately sat on their hands. And we just elected that we were considered an essential service in our market. We were allowed to still transact business and help people. And so that's what we did. And now there are less buyers. Transaction volume, the number of people buying homes currently, is down nationally and in my market. It's not a market crash. It's not. It's that homeowners are not generally that interested in moving yet, because they've got a great rate, they're comfortable, they just don't want to move. However, there are homeowners. Wow, that was weird. Did you see that? That's crazy. I guess when I do this, sorry, I get distracted easily. However, there are homeowners that are really uncomfortable where they're living right now. Maybe they've got a 2-hour commute. Maybe they can't go upstairs anymore. Maybe they've got another baby on the way and they need a third bedroom. I don't know. But those people are looking for homes. And so we have found a treasure trove of seller leads in the buyer prospecting list, because they're not excited about selling. And I've done webinars with you, Jordan, on this. They're not excited about selling, but they are excited about moving. So I think we have some questions.
It's generating high quality leads as well, using an item of value like a lead magnet or something different.
Gotcha. Houses. Yeah. Pretty houses. That's That's the magnet. Very unassuming, very unexciting. I wish I could tell you there was like a video of me with like my dog or something that really crushed, but it just seems to be houses work really well. There are agents that crush it in the custom content arena. I happen to not be one of them. I've just decided that I'm going to use houses, and my creative energy I'm using in other areas of my life. But for me, I just keep houses in front of them. And at scale for my entire organization, it's working really well.
Well, you're saying you're keeping it simple, but at the end of the day, that's what they're interested in. They're interested in houses. It's as simple, but it's as direct as it can be to the consumer and what they're responding to.
Yeah, digital marketing has allowed me, like I'm a guy one-on-one or one-on-three. I'm great. I love that. But like client events with 50 clients or 75 clients, really stressful for me. That's a lot of one-on-one conversations. Entertaining. I really, if I feel like, if you guys said to me, hey, Barry, we're going to do a video where you need to make everybody laugh. Like that's really stressful for me. I don't want the burden of entertainment, right? I'm a teacher. And so for me, those things have created an environment where I don't enjoy custom video. I don't like creating custom video content to attract buyers and sellers. For people that enjoy it, they're so good at it. It's awesome. And it's a great way to run their business. It's just not me. But running houses in front of people and then talking to people about houses, it's just been a fit for over a decade. And we don't have to overcomplicate it. Just keep houses in front of them.
And plus, if you have a CRM that's able to track all that information too, then you're seeing what people are viewing, what people are saving, and then you start to realize, okay, well, maybe this is the correct city. Well, I know this neighborhood a little bit better. Let me provide some of that additional content for them that, resonates with what they're looking for.
Yeah, we close a zBuyer prospecting lead every couple of months. Like seriously, really old ones. Like they just never left. And some of them will save a house they save 123 Smith Street. They're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to save it. And my agent will just text them and say, hey, did you want to go see inside of 123 Smith Street? And a lot of leads don't respond. But the ones that do, they're like, yeah, it's really easy. It's not complicated,
Yeah.
Another good text is always just, would you like an open house list for this weekend? It just arrived for me. And then you can figure out who's actually really interested in shopping in the next, 30 to 60 days, because if they express an interest to see an open house list, then right away that, that's a great one to push out to people that you don't necessarily haven't heard from or don't know where they are in their buying time frame either.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, Trent. And I'm glad you brought it up. I don't know why that works so well, but it really does. Because to me, it's like a list of open houses.
Even if they say no, it's just, okay, is now like later at a better time, or if the yes is, then you have an automatic in. And then your next question is, well, if you do see something you like, let me know. We can join you and we can go from there. So.
Absolutely.
Looks like we have another question here. If you could do a short list of essentials to work your database, what would it be? What can a new construction developer can do to work his database?
All right. So if I was a new construction developer and I had a list of, let's say, 5,000 people that walked through his properties, I would decide what good bait would be for my market. And so Virginia Beach happens to be the most popular city. I have 7 cities around me, but Virginia Beach tends to be the most popular. So the average sales price in Virginia Beach is about $300,000. I'm going to send, if it was a new construction developer in my market, we would send listings in the city of Virginia Beach. Even though some of the sites are not in Virginia Beach, we would still choose Virginia Beach, and we would probably do $350,000 to $600,000 listings. That's it. We would email them listings, and we would run Facebook ads on houses in that price range and in that city. What we found when we do this, people that are looking at other cities don't mind clicking a pretty house that's in their email or in their Facebook newsfeed and then adjusting the search. And that's where the magic is. Now they're engaging your IDX search So they're actually starting to, look at it. And those are the people that we prospect. So instead of cold calling 5,000 people and spending 1 second per person, we maybe cold call 800 people and spend 60 seconds per person, meaning multiple calls, different types of outreach, right? We're using behavior from the leads to determine the amount of effort that we put into outreach. Same thing with Revaluate. Revaluate is a third-party platform. I don't have any affiliation or, none of that, but they score life events. And so I've got, I think maybe 4,000 total zBuyer leads, I'm going to guess. And I ran all of them through Revaluate. And we found the ones that were the most likely to move soon, right? Using that score. And we've gotten listings off of that. So I'm all about quieting the noise and filtering down just the people. I would rather spend more time on a few people than a lot of time, or like a little bit spread out over a lot of people. Time's too precious, even for my sales team.
Excellent answer.
Yeah.
One more question here from Pierre on our Facebook Live. How are you approaching old buyer lead prospects, kind of like zBuyer's bonus prospecting leads feature? And what does your initial contact look like?
Yeah, so this is going to be kind of hilarious. Now, setting the stage, I bring in all these people and then I push houses in front of them. The ones that they could just click on the email. Our eyes are like, our targets are dialed on them, right? So it doesn't have to be amazing behavior. And all we do is we have a very serendipitous vibe. It's almost an accidental call is how it feels. And all we do is we say, hey, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. Listen, you've been in our system a while. We're cleaning up our database. When I got to your name, I didn't see if you ever found a home. So I figured before I archive your notes or archive your file, I would check and see, did you ever find that house you're looking for? Did you ever sell that house you were thinking about selling? That's it. That's it. A third of the time that the person actually answers. So let's say we call 20 people, 10 of them answered, right? 3 of the 10 calls, about 30%, turn into an appointment because the person says they're honest and they say, oh, I'm still looking. And we say, oh, it's been 4 years. It's been 2 years. It's been a year. Like, what happened? They share their journey. And we take the position that when a prospect expresses ignorance, fear, confusion, or wrong information, one of those 4, which is really easy to do when they talk about their struggle over the last 3 years, they are in a disposition where they're ready to learn. And so it's created a new kind of urgency. The urgency we as agents, when we're calling a zBuyer prospecting list, typically is, I need to move in 3 months. Can you help me? Yeah, that's our favorite urgency. Unfortunately, however, that is not normal. And you can't scale your business off of luck. And that's what you're doing if all you're hoping for is the person happens to be ready when you happen to call them. So ignorance, fear, misinformation, and confusion. And so when a person expresses one of those things in any way, we decide that we're going to take on the role of a teacher. And we're going to say something like, in my professional opinion. And then we're going to tell them what they need to do. Or we're going to say something like, my other clients really appreciated it when and then we're going to tell them what to do. What I just said, is the difference between making money with leads that start the conversation with, I'm not sure yet, and actually realizing, because what happens is when you ask them questions or you surface ignorance or fear or confusion or misinformation, this is a moment where you get to identify what they're feeling and be their savior, be their teacher, be their leader. When you do that, you've created a new urgency to be educated. And it's fascinating when you do this, because for my agents, what we do at scale now, we say, hey, in my professional opinion, this is too important. You shouldn't be guessing, right? And it's overwhelming. I'm glad you're not ready. While you're not ready, we need to meet. I like to meet at my office. We're going to go over the process. I'm going to fill in some gaps for you so that the next year you're empowered, you've gained clarity, and I'll be a sounding board for you. But again, let me remind you, I know you're not ready. And what ends up happening is it's almost like a first-time homebuyer seminar. You guys have heard of those.
Mm-hmm.
If you get 30 people in a room as a homebuyer seminar, you're going to find a couple of them that are like, yeah, this is easier than I thought. Let's go, right? That's what's happening to my agents consistently. These are 3 to 4 month nurtures when we meet them, because we figure out where their blockers are. And we are a passionate and curious teacher. We've all had teachers that just read the textbook. Today we're going to read. And then occasionally you have a teacher, and for all of you listening right now, a teacher's coming to mind that they just loved their subject. They pulled it out of you. And when you would say something, they would say, that's interesting. How did you decide that that's the route you wanted to go with this? Right? Like and that's what you have to do with these prospects. So you get the buyer list, you remarket or email them listings. When you talk to them, surface their struggle, become their teacher.
Excellent information. And thank you there, Rich.
I like that.
Everybody, we're kind of running out of time here. But I do want to wrap this up and let everybody know that, Jake, if you can drop in that link again, you guys can get started with zBuyer today, and they're offering 10% off your first month exclusively for LCA members. So if you want to drop that back in, take a look at that. This is being recorded, and it'll be on our YouTube channel later today. And be sure to check that out, because there's some great information if you did miss that. I just want to thank Jordan again. If you have any closing thoughts that you want to sum up here, and I wanted to thank Barry as well.
Yeah,
it was great. So, Jordan, did you want to push anything for zBuyer? Otherwise, definitely check out that bonus prospecting list.
Yeah, lots of fun. We talked about a lot of good stuff today. But I think, to summarize a little bit of everything, there's a power in a database, and then knowing how to use that database effectively. To Barry's point, it's hard to find a database like this of true, previously opted in leads, not just public data, not, trying to generate your own Facebook leads for 2 years and then all of a sudden you have a database. This is where you can step into it from month one. I'm looking at an area like Miami-Dade County. If you bought 34 leads with us, it cost you $510. We'll give you 1,080 prospecting leads the moment you sign up. Almost 1,100 leads, and we'll add 313 every single month, because this is just one of our bigger markets. And it's not the biggest. Cook County, we add like 500 a month. Riverside County, we add in the 300 something a month. Barry buys up all of Virginia, so there's not a lot of leads that are left over there. But this is a really strong way. And to Barry's point, everyone's feeling a storm in a different way right now and in a different effect. And it's how you weather the storm. It's that pressure that makes diamonds. And this is a really cool way that if you have the database, you get it into your system, and then you know how to properly work it, all of a sudden there's magic that starts to happen. You have to sit, you have to watch it, you have to prepare for it and build what you need to build to be able to use this effectively. But there's magic that happens. And it's a really interesting part of our service, to Barry's point again, that goes under talked about. People don't see the value in 1,000 old leads, because it sounds like a chore. And in many ways, it can look like a chore, and it can be daunting getting it into your system and building the campaign. But once you've done it and it's there, it's amazing what you can do.
That's the opportunity, because Absolutely. It's hard. Yeah. Great summary.
That's my closing thoughts. Did I leave anything else for you, Barry?
I echo everything you said. I think in a world of vendors that offer all kinds of services, this particular feature in zBuyer really does set you guys apart. And as a result, I think that those that are considering, I think it's something that should be weighed heavily on, because, that database, to me, I get the warm fuzzies at night, not having to worry. I finally broke my addiction with Zillow and Realtor.com like 3 years ago, because my database grew to the point I didn't have to spend. That opened up a lot of opportunities in other areas of my business, because now, I'm not spending this absorbent amount of money for new bottom of funnel leads. I've monetized nurture leads at scale, and it's created all kinds of revenue and leverage in my business in other areas. So yeah, great summary. And I think that those that stuck on, I think most of the people that started this webinar actually stuck with it, because I think this is a unique topic that should be talked about more, to be honest with you. So always fun to hang out with you guys. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. And one more thing, because it was kind of came to me. You talk about you broke your addiction with Zillow and Realtor.com. You did, but at the same time, you just went and created your own. Because Zillow and Realtor.com, what do they have? They have listings. You have a website that has listings, but you didn't have the database to get the traffic there that you needed to have the same effect that Zillow or Realtor.com can do. So all you did was build the database.
Well, yes. And this could be a whole nother webinar, to be candid with you, because Zillow and Realtor.com taught me to work one kind of conversation. The person wants to go see a house, and they taught me. They created demand, they managed supply, and created $1 billion business off of it. I decided that I liked making money, so I had to figure out another kind of conversation to work. And that's why this kind of topic is so big. And when I say broke the addiction, it's funny, but we were addicted to one conversation, being one kind of lead, being the lead we were looking for. And I just learned how to monetize another opportunity. And Jordan, you supported it so much, man. And just last week, top 10 on Amazon, my book. So thank you for the support. Yes, I know. 2 years later, it's crazy.
It's still to this day, every new person we bring into the company gets a copy of the book.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Always a pleasure. Trenton, it was nice to work with you, buddy. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thanks, everyone.
See everybody.
Right.